My name is Tammy Corbett, and this is my initial post for Module 2 of Student Development Theory. Our text gave us overabundance of theories, and some of them were familiar to me, and others were not so familiar, and then some I had just basically never heard of. Some of the more familiar ones, of course, was Erickson's stages of development, which I've been studying that for so long, and I actually love that theory. I think that in my opinion, he's dead on with a lot of the things that actually happen to us as we go through stages of life. And then there's also Kober's theory of moral development, which plays a large issue into our ethical decision making. It does lead to question, though, whether or not moral reasoning actually leads to good moral behavior. It's nice to know that there's a theory that states what it should be, but what it actually is for an individual is an entirely different thing. James Fowler's Stages of Faith was very intriguing to me. I had never heard of this particular theory, and if I have, I probably just never gave particular notice to it until now. But it is interesting that you can kind of compare it to Erickson's stages of development. In certain of the stages, you can get stuck. And I like the way he simplifies and talks about how, what happens when one is fully developed into that area and what happens when they're not developed. Other theories that were kind of interesting were the theories relating to women. Gilligan's theory of woman's moral development, and summary of the ways of women's ways of knowing by the several theories that gathered together all that information was very intriguing. And it's nice to know that women are not left out, because women do think differently than men, and so of course we need our own set of theories or explanations to understand why we do the things that we do. And then there were several other theories. As I mentioned, there were an overabundance of theories, which leaves a lot to reflect upon and to make a decision on when it comes to writing the map, the analysis for Module 2. The other readings were also as equally interesting. Educating the Developing Mind talked about the 3 levels of organization. Our cognitive organization and development is composed of core processes, mental operations, and knowledge and beliefs, which, if you think about it, does kind of equal the whole person if you put all of them together. And then Bloom's taxonomy, the lowest levels and the highest levels. And just as we evolve, theories evolve, and they have evolved this particular hierarchy. And so the lowest is now remembering, understanding, and applying, and the highest is analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And this is the highest is basically what we're trying to achieve in college. We're trying to analyze all of this information right now, evaluate it, and be creative enough to try to reflect on the future and to see what implications there would be for future students in the higher education department. One of the other articles for extra reading was, are there cultural differences in learning style, which I think, of course, there are. One of the quotes was that culture acts as a strong socialization agent, which tends to influence learning preferences and produce different learning styles. And that is so true, which is why I have problems with standardized testing, because you can't give that test to everybody, because everybody's not of the same culture, and everybody doesn't have the same family backgrounds, and I think the tests are biased for one particular type of culture. And so I definitely agree with that. I thought the article was very interesting, and I would love for there to be more theories or more research into this area. Another one was the dropout from higher education, the article on that. It kind of stated that dropout is taken to be the result of an individual's experiences in the academic and social systems of the college. And that is, I think, I'm glad that they're doing research on that, and I think to a large extent that is true, because it is reflected into our own experiences at our college. So all in all, the readings were abundant, but they were very resourceful, and I'm glad that we are in a class that we can reflect upon theories that will kind of help us to be able to understand and maybe take action and implement them in the future. So that's my initial post.